one's name's Moore. He was from Fairview, and so was Kavanaugh. Now Kavanaugh was an uncle to the Kavanaughs in Fairview.
Mm-hmm.
So
Joan Kavanaugh was in my class.
So we went ashore and picked up helmets. I got a German helmet. Kavanaugh, I think, has an Italian helmet.
Did he also live in Fairview?
Yeah, he lived in Fairview. And these guys have died.
What street did he live on?
Kavanaugh lived on America Road over behind the 5 and 10.
Isn't
that's where Joan Kavanaugh lived. She was behind Louis.
Yeah.
Okay,
I got hit by a car on that street coming out that alley in 61. I almost got killed.
Photographer.
7.
And he said, try to get 2 or 3 guys from the same town, and I'll send a copy. That was in the Inquirer, this picture.
Okay, so you have Kavanaugh on the left, and what was his first name?
Francis Kavanaugh.
And
I forget Moore's first name. See, he only called people by their last name.
And where did Moore live in Fairview?
See, that's what I don't remember.
Okay.
But Mr. Oxley, if you're saying behind Louis, could that be Joan Kavanaugh's father and not uncle, maybe? Because that's where Joan lived.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. It could very well, because he would be my age, or maybe a year older. Menzies. And we got sent back. First, the Menzies reported a blip on the horizon. So we were convoy commodore. That's the means. We had the senior officer on the convoy. So he said, Menzies, go back and investigate that blip. Well, as soon as she got there, the German submarine put a torpedo right in her stern, an acoustic torpedo. This guy was in the gun tub above the torpedo. They put that picture in a couple magazines during the war, and they thought they shouldn't have, because they thought it was depressing to the civilians, for morale. So they stopped doing it. But that he was on a director. This fellow that's in a director could direct the 3 main anti-aircraft guns, and they would all fire at the same plane. That's what a director did, and he just happened to be there. But the Menzies, they went to reunions with us. Now see, there's the actual photograph, but you can't even see me on this one because I'm behind. Here, you can see me better on that actual photograph. And on the way into the Mediterranean, this ship got torpedoed. The Germans were really bad in the Mediterranean. And these are some of the prisoners. These guys were the prisoners off the submarine. What's this one? Oh, that's an actual photo. You can see me better on that picture. So they talked between each other on what they call TBS, and talk between ships. Now the captain of the Menzies went to the academy with our captain. He said, Ralph, don't stop there were a lot of guys in the water. Don't stop to pick up survivors. He's still here. He's about 1,000 yards off our bow, waiting for somebody to come up and help these guys. See, they're the guys that got blown. All the guys on the depth charge got all blown overboard, see, because it hit the stern. So now we know this. We were going to go right up, stop, put our whaleboat over like they did on this other one, this other picture, coming into the Mediterranean, and pick up survivors. Don't stop, he said. He's right here. He's only 1,000 yards. So the best sonar man was a guy named Fink, and he was on what we call the stack. He turned that thing to like the bearing that the skipper on the Menzies said. He said, he's laying off there. Our sonar man's listening to the noise on them. Now they're moving about. You can hear all kinds of noise. See? So anyhow, as soon as he got that bearing, we're on it. But the damn shame of it is, we had 24 rockets that would have blown him right out of the water. Each one has 60 pounds of dynamite in it. And when one went off, they all went off. The thing didn't go off. It didn't energize. And we sailed right over. But we still got a good pattern with our depth charges out the stern. But this is so positive. It was something the British invented. It's called hedgehogs, and they're sitting on, they call them spigots, and these rockets would all go off together, but they would make a perfect circle up in the air, and they would land. Now when they went down through the water, if one got tilted, it would go off. So if the submarine's wake was there, or if we hit the submarine with them, and we were right on him, that damn things didn't fire. So we sailed right over him, dropped our depth charges, screwed him up so bad, he's leaking so bad. He went right into the coast. There's a whole story here about that. He went right in and laid on the coast for 2 days. Now their air's bad. They got to surface. They can't stay down any longer. And then another ship came back from the convoy, and a ship come out of Algiers. Now we got 3 ships there, and we're sailing along the coast, and we know he didn't come out. But see, you can't ping, you can't echo range off the coast, because you'll get an echo off the coast. So he knew that if he just laid there still, we couldn't pick him up. So he laid there until the air got bad in the submarine, and all of a sudden, here come all these guys. He couldn't get away. And so then we started picking up survivors, and they only lost 1 guy. And they think he swam ashore. They wasn't sure, because when they interviewed the prisoners, they said that we don't know what happened to him, because nobody apparently was hurt. So they think one of the guys swam ashore instead of waiting to be picked up and become a prisoner of war. Now they had a reunion after the war, and I've got a thing down the cellar that they sent us. They were so happy the way they were taken care of in this country. It's a nice thing that they sent us about their skipper and everything. He was only 26 years old, and I forget how many ships this guy had sunk. Oh, he had up like 18, 20 ships.